So it's the morning of the 9th. Yesterday was the eclipse. It's always a really cool experience. We've been really fortunate. The last time that there was an eclipse, we were on the Oregon coast, and so we were right in the direct path of totality then. And now that we're living here in Missouri, we weren't directly in the path of totality. We had to gone to southern Missouri to see that, but it was just a tiny little sliver left, but it was still really cool to watch. And it's always interesting to note the change of the tone of light. On the Oregon coast, when we had the total eclipse, the light was almost purple. It was a strange cast of gray and purple. Like it'd be hard to describe. And yesterday here, it was kind of just like a bluish gray, muted tones, and very different, but still very cool. Anyway, so a week has passed since I did my last video, and I was a little bit panicky about my health. I was having a lot of chest pains, a lot of kidney pains. A lot of the chest pains have abated since then, and I don't really know why. I didn't hold true to my water fast of 10 days. I ended up only fasting intermittently, and then on odd days I fasted for the whole of the day. So I ended up maybe fasting a total of 3 days, and then the other days it was just intermittent fasting. The good news is I lost 3 pounds and 1 ounce. I'm not usually that exact, but I just noticed the math, and from my last weigh-in, and I had lost 3 pounds and 1 ounce. So that's heartening in and of itself, to at least to be going in the right direction, even though I cheated myself. And I think that's really the concerning part, is the fact that I cheated myself. There's a few things that made it really inconvenient to fast. I don't know if anybody else has the same reaction to fasting that I do, but I get really cold. Now that sounds really soft and everything, but I get so cold and I just can't warm up. And no matter if I don't generally wear shoes a lot, but I wear socks if I'm fasting, because I'm freeze. So I'm excited for the warmer weather to be coming. I think in some ways it'll make fasting a little easier. The other excuse I have, which is neither one of them are good excuses, is that it was Easter weekend, and it's hard to be well, I've always been the cook in my family, but now that I'm a single parent, I can't just say, hey, you guys are going to take care of yourself. I still have relatively small children in the house, and so cooking's not something. I mean, they can make macaroni and cheese and simple stuff, and they do, and they make really good cream puffs, but for the most part, I'm the one that does the cooking. And if I don't do cooking, then they just eat junk, and I don't want to do that. So it's hard to be around food, and since it was a holiday weekend, Holy Week and a holiday weekend, you always want to cook something nice, so you can be happy. I don't know. I still take a lot of joy in food, and that's a big problem. Like, it is kind of the one fix I have for comfort, and I don't know. It's just I like good food, and I like sharing good food with the people I love, and it's not a problem But the problem is when I cook, I tend to cook the things I really like. And so then I really want to eat the things that I really like. And moderation isn't really something that I'm great at. I know why I'm overweight. It's not because of what I eat is unhealthy. It's just because my portion control has been out of whack for a long time. I spent a lot of my younger years lifting weights and even for a little time competitively, and I training for sports, and so every time I lift, I'm like, oh, I've got to get my protein in, I've got to get my calories in. And so when I work out, there's just kind of a knee-jerk reaction that says, hey, I need to be eating more food. The problem is when you have excess calories turn into fat. And I mean, there is no quick fix to losing weight. No matter what they say, no matter what pills or whatever fad diets come out, it really comes down to increasing your activity, burning more calories, and consuming less. Putting yourself in a calorie deficit. That's really the only way that anyone loses weight. And I'm not really good at caloric deficit. I'm all right with working out. I'm a really active person. I work out 6 days a week usually in some way or the other. When the weather's good, I generally lift weights in the morning and then walk with my children in the evening. And we generally put on 4 to 6 miles. That's a good average. But I've been injured. I hurt my back, and so 4 to 6 miles is a little difficult right now. So my activity is decreased, and I feel bad about that. And so when I feel bad, I want to console myself with food. It's a bad cycle, and I need to reverse that. So that's why I was hoping to do a 10-day fast, was just to say I have complete control over my eating habits. And so I'm going to try and do it again. I'm not exactly sure when I'll start, because it's still kind of cold, and I don't want to set myself up for failure, because every time you lie to yourself, it becomes that much easier to lie and to take it easy when you know you should be not taking it easy. I firmly believe that we're supposed to push ourselves, and that life isn't meant to necessarily be comfortable. And the reason that I'm overweight and unhealthy is because I have been at times a slave to comfort. When things were chaotic and painful in every other aspect of my life, I looked to food for comfort. And I've got to break that habit. And it's a habit I've established over 50 years. So it's not gonna be changed in one day or 1 week or 1 month. It's gonna be a process. I think the point is if I can start now and try to establish good habits, good systems, then I'll be more successful. And I think to some extent I'm doing that. I know that like I said before, we don't buy a lot or any really processed food. Every once in a while we'll buy some chips or snacks or something for the kids, but it's not something that's a mainstay in our house. We don't have, most everything that we consume is cooked by hand. It's not packaged food. And so I think we do well on some of those things. I think we're a little carb heavy still. I think we could certainly increase vegetable intake and good protein intake. I think those things are needful. But for now, I just really need to find some moderation in my relationship with food. the good news is a lot of the chest pains have gone away. The kidney pain is still there. My blood sugar's still pretty high, and my real hope is that I can fast. The last time I fasted for an extended period of time, my blood sugars went down to the normal range and stayed there for quite a while, excuse me. And I'm kind of hoping to repeat that process. But I'm struggling. I can fast one day pretty easily. It doesn't take much, which is completely opposite of how it used to be. It used to be the first day was always hard, and it still is. I mean, you feel hunger pains more acutely, I think, or at least I do, on the first day, and then it kind of backs off a little bit. But then it becomes a psychological war for me because I get angry and bitter about not eating. I feel like I'm picked on, and it's really hard not to covet other people making health strides when I know that I do more to be healthy, and I get really upset about it. But I have a suspicion that for several reasons, my life has been chronically induced in cortisol, and there's a lot of things that have been really severe stressors with my wife, her health, and some of the conditions that she dealt with on a daily basis, and all of those problems landed directly on my shoulders while I was trying to be a dad to 4 beautiful children. And so I know that cortisol has been my constant companion for a really long time, and it's something that I'm going to have to be cognizant of and try to get rid of those stressors in my life. And part of that comes down to having some integrity and some discipline when I say I'm going to do something, to do that, because then it becomes really stressful when I don't complete it. So I'm going to try again. I think I'll try for 7 days, and I'll report back next week. Hope all of you are safe, good, healthy, and blessed. Bye.